and they started up Super Mario 64, and it was on this big TV, and I was just like, holy crap, like, this is it, man, this is it.
Hey everybody, this is Nesto from Blank Trigger Gamers, and I'm here with Jack Fleegler, also known as ToxicxEternity. He's like a superhero. He's got two identities, and yeah, we're going to talk about some video games, some metal. So, Jack, what do you do? Who are you?
Well, yeah, like I was saying it before, but yeah, thank you for having me. First of all, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, like, so I'm a guitar player, musician. I've been playing guitar pretty much like my whole life, and like, you know, I've always, alongside playing guitar, I've loved, you know, playing video games, like, you know, most 90s kids, you know what I mean, and grew up with Nintendo games and stuff like that. And I've always loved the music for video games, you know, and it was at some point, you know, when I was a teenager, you know, I was playing guitar a lot. I still play guitar, but like, you know, I was really getting into guitar, and I decided to experiment with putting some guitar riffs on top of, you know, one of my favorite video game songs. And this was also kind of like, you know, when YouTube was starting off and stuff. So like, that's kind of, you know, pretty much what I do at this point now. I just pretty much like, I found out that I love combining, you know, guitar with video game music, and that's what I do now, you know. Ever since I did it that first time, I've been doing that for pretty much about 10 years now. So
wow, nice. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about how I got introduced to you real quick. So like, you know, Jason Steffen, who's yeah, so he's the brother of Jared Steffen, who's part of our channel. You guys started the band Singularity, and that's where I discovered you guys. I was like, who is this guitarist in this band? And then I looked you up on YouTube, and I was like, he makes video game covers? This is sick. Like, hell yeah. Yeah, so that's how I got introduced to you. How did you get introduced to video games?
It was pretty much like, it's so funny. I was literally telling this story like the other day, so it's like super fresh. But it was like the first time I saw Super Mario 64 when I was a kid, you know, because like, I think I was about 6 or 7 years old at the time. And like, I knew about Super Nintendo, and I thought that was cool, but it didn't like when I first saw Super Mario 64 and the 3D and everything, and just like, and it was actually at my friend's house, because it was like my dad's co-worker's house that we were at, and they had this like huge TV, and it was like, you know what I mean, it was like, it covered the size of the wall. And I remember that they just got a Nintendo 64, and they're like, hey, let's check it out, it's a Nintendo 64, and they started up Super Mario 64, and it was on this big TV, and I was just like, holy crap, like, this is it, man, this is it, you know. And I mean, you know, I bet like most people have had similar experiences like this. And then you just, for like the next year, I was just like, Mom, Dad, I gotta get a Nintendo 64, dude. Like, you gotta freaking buy this for me. Nice. So, you know, eventually you know, I won, and I got an N64. And yeah, so it's like I played Super Mario 64. I played like all the classics. Like, it was a Nintendo 64 for me. I played PlayStation later on, but for me it was like Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, just like all those bangers on the system, you know. And it was really just like, I mean, I just played them all the time. I just loved them, you know. And I just like, and kind of like what I was saying before, you know, it's like at this point in my life, I already loved music. Like, obviously I wasn't like shredding on guitar like or whatever, but like I was, you know, I knew guitar like and stuff. And so I kind of like, I feel like my experience could have been like a little bit more unique too, because like I just really loved and like appreciated the music. And I'm not saying like other people didn't do that, but like maybe like for me it was maybe even like on a deeper level, just because like I've already grown up like being shown so much music by my parents and stuff. So it was really just like, I don't know, just the music was a huge part of it for me, but also of course just in general the like the graphics and just the technology, like how big of a leap that was during that time, you know.
Did you like, what was the next one? It was the PlayStation, or
you know, I wasn't doing Nintendo until the PlayStation 2. So I got a GameCube, and you know, freaking again, man, like Wind Waker, Smash Brothers Melee, dude, like so
Metroid
many
Prime.
like Metroid Prime. See, Metroid Prime actually came later, which is ironic because that's like pretty much what I consider to be like one of my favorite games of all time now. But Metroid Prime, I remember I couldn't even like play that game because it was so hard for me like when I was that young. But
it's crazy.
like,
Yeah.
I think I was about like 10 or something like that. But
Okay.
yeah, so like so GameCube, but then it was PlayStation 2, and then it was like, you know, I mean, PlayStation 2, even though I like am very Nintendo is very a big part of my childhood, like the PlayStation 2 is like pretty much the greatest video game console of all time.
So good. So good.
Like, so it's, you know, I got one of those and I just played, I can't even tell you how many games I played on that. And then so, you know, at that point, you know, it was pretty clear to me. I was just, you know, I loved video games and I just played them all the time, you know.
So how did you get into metal music? I'm curious to see, like, how did you get into the heavy part?
So yeah, like my dad is like, he's like a rock dude, like, so he loves, like, he introduced me to like AC/DC when I was a kid and stuff, and like that was the thing that got me, like, just watching like it was like a huge AC/DC concert with like a zillion people. And you know, when I was a kid, I was just like, oh man, I want to do that. I want to step on stage in front of 1 million people and play guitar and do that, you know. So awesome. that was the initial thing that grabbed me, was like Angus and Malcolm Young, AC/DC, like, and that stuff. And then it kind of like progresses, right? And it just gets a little heavier. So it's like, then I discovered Metallica. And and then that was really it for me, you know. I mean, like, Metallica just blew. I mean, it's like, what can you say? They're freaking Metallica, you know. They're the greatest band, like heavy metal band, you know. So there was that. Obviously I just binged them and I was obsessed. And then I think like from there, you know, I just like, I listened to like a lot of Maiden, like Iron Maiden. I freaking love, like, you know, the melodies and stuff. And I feel like that was really influential to me, because like, even though I love Metallica, like their riffs are amazing, like Maiden, I feel like they brought this like melody to it. Yeah. And for me, like, I feel like that had an impact on me with like what I do on YouTube and stuff, because obviously with video game music, it's very melodic too. So I feel like that's kind of my inner like Maiden side kind of coming out a little bit. Obviously with like the harmonies and stuff too and everything. And then pretty much like, then I heard like, I remember it was there was a cover that Children of Bodom did of Aces High, and that was my introduction to like extreme stuff, you know what I mean? And then it just went from there. It just, you know, now I listen to like everything.
Got heavier and heavier.
Yeah, exactly. That was Children of Bodom was my first like harsh vocals band, and then, you know, it just gets more crazy from there, you know. I
know you talked a little bit about like, you know, you just started like making the video game covers back in the day. Was there a moment where you're like, I want to keep making covers, you know, because you talked about you experimented it a bit, but was there something that gave you like, I'm gonna do this? I'm
trying to remember, because like I wish I could like perfectly remember my mindset, but I remember like before I even thought about playing guitar with video game music, what I loved to do was like transcribe it and stuff, and like I like to figure out, because but that's what's so cool about like Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 is that they use a lot of like MIDI sounds. Oh yeah. But what you can do is you can actually perfectly recreate the music like with the same exact sounds. So that was like very enticing to me, to just be like, all right, well, let's make like the perfect recreation of these songs and stuff. And it was a lot of Mario and Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye stuff that I was doing. And so I was sitting there, and I was with my friend who was also doing this at the same time. You know, we both kind of were playing guitar together and stuff. And so we were just like sitting there and just doing all these transcriptions. And I was kind of sitting there, and you know, I was just looking at all this. I'm like, I got to do something with this, you know, like, because I'm just like sitting here with all these things, and I just don't know what to do with them. And I'm very proud of them, and I want to show them to people, but you know, what do I do? So I just I started like recording a little bit. You know, I've been recording up until this point, but it was very casual. Just like a lot of it was like loops and stuff like that. So like, this was like very like a point in my life or whatever where I was like really wanting to get into recording. So I had all of this transcriptions. So I figured out how to like interface the transcription with the recording program, and how to get the drums in there and how to do all that. And then I just started playing guitar on it. And I think it was just kind of like like, I don't know if it was necessarily just like okay, so here's the plan. I'm gonna like do this and it's gonna be my career. And it definitely wasn't something like that. It was very just like impulsive and just like something I wanted to do. And this was also when YouTube like just started. And I was very intrigued by YouTube and just the idea that everyone's like posting all this like amazing content. Also like websites like Newgrounds were around. And like I was very inspired by all the artists like doing animations on Newgrounds and stuff. And I was just like, I just want to do something cool like that too. So I just kind of I just wanted to put something out there that was cool, and really what happened was when people were watching it and they were commenting on it and saying how good it is, like that was like, it was like a drug, It's like, oh my God, like people like this, they like me, they think this is cool, because it's like, I was a nerdy kid in high school. So like, it's not like I was like beaten up every day, but I definitely wasn't like the most popular kid in school. So to have a place where everyone's just like saying how cool and talented I am, that was really nice for me. So I just like, a lot of it was initially obviously my own dedication to get better at it, but also just wanting to see all these nice comments and see all these people be cool and stuff. And like, so it was definitely just like, that was kind of the story behind it. It was just like, it was kind of just something I did for fun one day, and I put it out there thinking nothing of it. And then once I realized how much people liked it, I was like, all right, well, let's do another one and another one.
Yeah. Definitely confidence boost when you do something on YouTube and you're like, this is sick. Like, people are digging it.
Yeah. Because if you showed it to anybody at your school, they'd be like, what that, like, this is like, who cares,
Yeah.
Like, especially if it's like video games with guitar on it. It's like, to this day, it's still a very, like, it's a very particular thing that, if you love it, then you love it and you're going to always love it. But it's like, it's not exactly like, something that's going to be on the top 40 on Spotify or something.
Yeah. Now, like, you see like video game covers, there's got like millions of views, 100,000. It was early where like people were just starting out. So no one like looked at it and it wasn't like its own like thing, community. So it was, so showing that to people, it probably would be like, what's this?
What I didn't realize was that there was a lot of people doing the same thing, like literally putting guitar, Family Jewels was doing it. And like, and that was like, that was the big thing for me, was like seeing that other people were doing it, and then we all just kind of looked at each other. We're like, oh, hey, what's up? Like it's crazy. It's crazy how we all did that. We all live. I don't know. It's just, again, I know it sounds so weird because it's like we're so used to the internet now. We're so used to YouTube, but like back then it was like, it's crazy. Like, it's like there's people all over the country that are doing what I'm doing, and and like it was still just such a mind-blowing thing for me.
I think I started noticing like the kind of the community growing when I started seeing so many collabs with everybody. I watched your videos and it was just cool seeing all the new guitarists that would kind of like you would collab with, like Rishad and Jonathan Young and like Jules. But it was just cool seeing it kind of grow from that small area and seeing it explode, kind of seeing how like everybody was doing their own thing. I find this fascinating because I've seen it on your Twitch stream, and this might be a big question, but what's the process of making a video game cover? Like, is it like, how does it start with you? So like,
I mean, obviously it's like I have to listen to it and be excited about it. So it's like, so I obviously want to be inspired and I want to hear something that I can do, so if I, obviously step one is just get excited about the song and listen to it a whole bunch and just like kind of try and like take in like the vibes, like what is it doing? Is it fast? Is it slow? Like and then like, if we're starting to like get into the like process of it, it's like, I usually start with like doing like the rhythm guitar parts. So that's not always been the case. Like, well, mostly been the case now that I said it. But like what I've been doing more recently is doing the whole arrangement of the, like I'll do the guitar like for the whole song before I even think about drums, before I think about so that's new, and I like that a lot. But basically it just starts with me just like jamming on top of the song. Damn, this freaking thrash metal right now though. I think I got that. So we're in D minor. I think we can do this. coming up with like riffs and just like just any other metal guitar player would do when they're writing a song, just thinking about like, should I like do some palm mutes here? Should I do some open chords? Should I make this like sound like this or like that? You know, so it's like it's a very like metal like guitar mindset of just like what kind of riffs do I want to write, you know, etc. And that I find that that's like, but like once if I can get that good, then everything else is just a breeze, because then it's just like you learn the melody, and like learning the melody is something that is more it's more like work, because it's like, not saying it's not like fun or whatever, like recording it is fun, but when you're like arranging a video game song, like figuring out the melody is just a matter of like ear training and just hearing the melody. It's not as like creative as writing original riffs on top of the song, you know? So it's like, because I want to play the melody as it is, you know? So it's like, you do that. And then after that, it should, you know, when you listen to the rhythm guitars with the melody, it should, like, my test is like, does this sound like the song? Because that should be like, that should be enough. You know? Yeah. And if it is, then I just start having fun. You know, I just start like putting like strings and trumpets, whatever, you know what I mean? Just start goofing off basically, and just put a bunch of crazy stuff and try and just make it like super huge, or, you know, it depends on the song though. Maybe if it's like a thrashy thing, I'd keep it simple, you know, but if it's like a big orchestra, then yeah, you do like all that stuff. And then weirdly enough, everyone thinks I'm weird for this, but I do the drums last, because I feel like
yeah, that is something different. Yeah.
Well, because like for me, it's like the riffs are already there. So like I feel like the drums, like they're gonna work with the riffs, and it almost feels like the rhythm guitar almost is its kind of the drums at the same time, because it's like if you're doing like a thrashy like alternate picking riff, it's like you kind of know the bass drum's gonna want to do that too.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, but the drums are, I would say, probably the most fun part of it for me, because that's like, because like in a good metal song, you want the drums to be just like freaking sick. You want like all the cool fills and all the cymbals and and I like working on the drums I like working on drums to like a fully fleshed out thing, and it's like the final, you know what I mean, the final thing. So. But that's been the process, you know, and that's what I've been doing on Twitch and stuff. And again, it's just, it all just starts with like good riffs, you know, and that's the part that really makes my brain like, you know, hurt after a while, because it's a really intense process. It's like, is this riff good? Does this riff suck? You know, but if I get good riffs on there, it's like everything else is just like, all right, easy mode, you know. I
noticed like you do like covers, is it like 2 or once a week or two?
Once a week. If I'm on my A game, I've been goofing off, but you know, it's all good. But yeah, like, you know, once a week is what I normally do and what I strive for.
So going into that, how did you because like you do this as a career, you do this as like, this is your job. What was the point where you said like, I can do this as a career, like I can do this consistently and not like, you know, have to work like at McDonald's or something?
Well, it's actually it's a cool story, because I have to give props to my friend Jules, and he was kind of the one that was like, he was already doing it for a career, and he literally like was just like, dude, you got to do this too, because like, you know, because I was working at a restaurant, and I liked my old job, like, so it wasn't like, oh, my life was so shitty before I did it full time. Like I was working a job, I was making money, that's cool, you know. But it was Jules and like I think my parents too, like they were just like, you could do this for a job, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like, you know, so I was very fortunate that you know, well, I saved up money and stuff, but I was also fortunate that, you know, I had a car already, and I was pretty like situated to just basically not make any money for like a year, you know, because I saved up money, and alongside when I made the jump, actually I say not make any money, but I didn't make any money from the YouTube videos, but like I was also in a position where I had a decent reputation in like the scene, like the Arizona scene and stuff. So I was able to, I did a couple of session gigs and stuff, and just like various like things to just like, you know, get by and stuff. But it was about 2015 when I went for it, and you know, that's just like, you know, I remember I launched like my Patreon, which is like was definitely like the main you know, it was the main thing that let me do what I do. And because because at this point I had about like 25,000 subscribers or something like that. So so it definitely wasn't nothing. So like I was very fortunate to just, when I launched my Patreon, it immediately was like a pretty decent amount, and I was just like, oh my god, like I remember that it just felt so good, and I was like, all right, well, let's do this then, you know. So but yeah, that was 2015, and I mean, I'll be real, I mean, it was terrifying though. It was stressful and terrifying, you know.
I can imagine, dude.
It definitely wasn't like just like, all right, let's do this easy, you know. It was very like super stressful. I mean, I remember I used to just like always think I was gonna just like, it was like some temporary thing, I was gonna go away, you know. So but you know, I was doing a lot of stuff on the side, all guitar related, but doing guitar stuff on the side, doing videos. I was just busting my ass for like years, like just like that was when I really just like started doing it so much, and just, you know, getting to where I am. So
okay, so that leads into my next question, which is, I think this is one of the coolest jobs you can do, like just basically making content, whichever that might be. What would you give someone who wants to like get into this, like, or get started on this, like some advice that you didn't have when you first started?
There's so many things that, you know what I mean? It's just, I mean, first of all, it's going to take a while to get anywhere, you know? So if you started off with the intention of just like doing it as a job or whatever, it's going to be tough. And I mean, it's not impossible. Like I have friends who started channels, and they're just like that, you know, they make the content that YouTube pushes, and it's just, everything's just, they're killing it, you know. But in my case, I had to go years and years without making any money from this and stuff. And I mean, you truly have to love what you're doing and not, you know, not expect any amount of like revenue from this, like until way later on. And and you can't expect people to that enjoy it to just by default want to support you with, you know, with money and stuff. It's you know, like, so it's just, I mean, you got to just put time into it. You got to do it because you love it, you know. So there's that. Another thing is just like collaborate as much as you can, you know, but don't be like, you know, like collaborate, but mainly make friends, like have it be a natural thing. Like don't just like hit up random people, like especially if they're really big, and you know, like don't do it like that, but just like make friends, reach out to the community. If there's like a Discord server for what you do, like join that. Be cool, make friends, because collaboration is a big part of success, you know what I mean? Like in this industry, it's like you have to work with other people, you have to have people spread the word about you to their friends and stuff. So definitely just find people, like-minded people, be cool, be friends with them, and then collaborate. And then I'd say those are two things that are good to do. Just be patient, and also like reach out and make friends and collaborate. So
oh yeah, I think that's really great advice, because it's, if it ever becomes like you like kind of hate it, try to take a step back and like look at rethink what you're doing, because I know that's one of the big things, is that a lot of people do things and then they kind of like they have an expectation and it doesn't meet that, and then they're just like, they disregard it even though like they were putting in the work. Yeah,
well that's a good point. It's like you don't really want to have, I really don't set like any expectations for myself. I mean, obviously this is my job, so it's like my expectation is to put out something. But as far as like, I don't have these big, like, by the end of the year, I need to have this amount of subscribers, or I need to make this money, or, you know, it's like, it's like, for me, I don't need that. Like, I don't need that as motivation. For me, it's just every day, let's just do something, let's record something, you know, just take it day by day. Because like for me, if I set these kind of expectations, I feel like I would be disappointed. So it's like, so I think a big part of burnout is like when people set these high expectations for themselves, and you got to just do it. You got to just take it day by day, just, you know, record that guitar part, you know, arrange that song, put it out, you know, just every day, just do something, and then do that for 5 years, and then see what you did, see what you have, you know.
Right. So I want to shift gears a bit because we've been talking about the video game stuff, but I also want to talk about some of the cool stuff that you've done outside of video games real quick. One thing is going to be completely random, but the Rockin 1000 thing that you did.
This is the Frankfurt Commerzbank Arena, and we are here for Rockin 1000. That's right, we brought 50 Black Spirit 200 amps and 15 crazy YouTubers to play 18 songs in front of 20,000 people with a band of 1,000. So what are you waiting for? Let's go in and have a look.
Yeah, so that was a concert that, I said it's a concert I played in Germany, but I'm sure people are like, what, you went to Germany? So like I went to Germany because an amplifier that I use called Hughes and Kettner, that's the brand. They actually flew me out to Germany, which still blows my mind. But they flew me out because they wanted me to help them, like, just be like featured on one of their advertisements for their new amp and stuff. So they flew me out, and so this was in Germany, and that was an amazing trip. And what we did there was, we took part in this concert called the Rockin 1000, which is something that they do all over Europe. Actually, they have it in like Italy and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not even just Germany, but this one was obviously in Germany. And what it is they get literally 1,000 people to fall into to come into a arena.
Holy crap.
And we all just like play these like classic rock songs, you know, just some like songs that, like, you know, everybody knows, like Smoke on the Water and stuff. Obviously we're not playing like freaking Metallica or whatever, you know. Like that would be a mess with 1,000 people. But like, so we're playing these like basic songs, but it was, you know, like, you know, literally I think it was like 500 guitar players. Everybody's got their rigs, you know. It was just like, but it was like, it was cool, you know. And it was really it was a very fun experience. I mean, I was with this whole crew of friends that I made, like, you know, throughout, because that was at the end of the week, like, so we were hanging out before, and we were all kind of just like, what is going on, you know? Right. So yeah, there's just rehearsals, and like, they were very like, it was very I don't want to say intense, but like, you couldn't just mess around. Like, it was like everyone kind of understood. It's like, look, even though this is fun, it's like everybody there was a real guitar player. They really wanted to do it. And I think what was cool about it is that I feel like a lot of those guys are maybe like people that wanted to play a big concert, but maybe they just, like, you know, they didn't want to sacrifice their whole life to do that grind and become a rock star. So I think it's a cool opportunity for people that are casual guitar players or drummers or whatever to go play a big ass concert, you know, in front of, I think there was about 20,000 people that showed up to that, which is like insane. That's another thing that blows my mind, because I feel like, you know, like that's like a European thing. It's just like these people come out to these concerts and they know it's a bunch of casuals, you know what I mean? But like to see all these people come out just for the love of the music and the art and stuff, it's like, I noticed that about Germany. It's like they just, it's such a different idea of, like, they really respect art and they respect music and stuff. Whereas, like, you know, again, I'm not trying to talk about America, but it's just like, you know, it's like in America, you go to see a concert for an artist that you love, and you know, you see the artist, but I don't think it would be as much of a turnout here if it was just a bunch of people you didn't know, you know, for the sake of just loving music and loving art, you know. So that was very cool to see that. It was very inspiring. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. The actual concert was, you know, I mean, we're all playing like AC/DC and Smoke on the Water. It's not like it was anything that was hard, but it was a good time, man. You know, we just had fun, you know? Oh
yeah. And another thing I want to talk about is something that some people might not know if they're not into like the metal scene. But your band, Singularity, I started like watching you guys when you were like in the club and just first shows, and now you're on a label and it's huge. It's crazy. Like,
thanks, man.
Yeah. So talk about that. Like, what's going on in Singularity world? Yeah,
I mean, like, you know, we've been doing this for a while. Like the Singularity started in like 2010, but we, you know, our first album was 2014, and that was still like, people still love that, which I'm very happy about. So that was our first album. We just put out our newest album, Place of Chains, which was literally a year ago, like as of 2 days ago.
Oh wow!
So it was just about a 1 year anniversary for the album.
Oh yeah!
And that was the album that was on the record label, which is called The Artisan Era. And they're like, they're. I mean, I know I'm obviously biased because I'm on the label, but they're like the best metal like record label right now. They're amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
Just as far as like the vibes and the people and just the love, like they're good people, and it's been amazing to be on that label. And then, so what we're doing right now, I mean, obviously it's been a really crappy year, like, cause we got the pandemic and stuff that's going on. So we were supposed to go on tour this year. We had a big tour planned and we were really excited about it, but they got canceled, unfortunately. But, but I'm seeing it more as like, well, hey, like, at least we could have done that, we were like, at least like the excuse for it is literally a plague. So, I'll take that, it's not like, it's not, so hopefully, obviously nobody knows what's going on with the touring or anything right now. But, once that comes back, we'll certainly, see what we can do and try and get out there and perform because, we definitely wanted to tour on the new material and play the new songs and stuff. But, I mean, we're definitely like sitting here we're working on stuff, we're working on music and so like, we don't necessarily plan to have an album out next year or whatever. But I mean, I guess we don't really know at this point, right? Like, like, and maybe a year from now we'll have something. But we're definitely writing some material. We're hanging out. We're kind of taking it easy, but like we're not in like go mode, like full on writing an album. But we're also like we're not doing nothing either. We're just kind of like, hey, I got a riff. Cool.
I get
just doing it, just being friends and making music. So that's what we're doing. It's very chill right now.
Do you have any plans with your live tour band for your video game covers?
Yeah, again, like we were gonna do some really cool stuff this year, like and it's, which is like I know it sounds very sad, but it's like what I'm saying is like it's like I'm saying it more as like it's like we definitely got some stuff planned, and when we can do it, like it's gonna be sick. I mean, like so we're like there's again when we can, it's gonna be we're gonna have a full band and we're gonna potentially do some touring and stuff and so like basically where it's at right now is like we want to do some touring. We got a band and we were talking to people, seeing what we can do, and it sounds like things can happen, so I'm very excited about that. It's definitely going to be a huge leap for me in terms of like my YouTube stuff, because it'll be taking it off of YouTube and putting it on a stage. So
and
super excited.
Yeah, and can confirm like that seeing it live is it's so sick. It's so
Hell
sick.
Yeah.
What's a video game track that's an underrated banger?
Holy crap. I think the Paper Mario soundtrack is what I'm thinking, like the new one, the Origami King, like. Because like we were literally just talking about that. Like, I mean, there's that. Like a lot of people had different expectations for the game itself. So I can't really speak to that because I haven't played a lot of the Paper Mario games. But I thought the game was great. So it was fun. But the music in that game is like insane. It's insane how good it is. And like it's very much like kind of like Undertale, where you're just like you're listening to it and you're like, I don't understand how this is so good. Like it's just like this is so amazingly, it's so well made. But like we've all been doing covers of it, and like, and it's like not that we're doing this not that we care about like what the views are, but we're just seeing these videos like not get as many views as like other stuff, and we're sitting here just like, man, people are sleeping on this stuff. Like, like they don't know like what Paper Mario is like, man. Like, so it's not like I'm like taking it personally about the views, but it just shows that people don't know about the Origami King, the soundtrack, you know, like,
Yeah.
and obviously some people do, and those are the people that like are obviously watching the videos, and like everyone's saying, they're like, yeah, you did it, like I love the soundtrack, you know. So I would say that's definitely like some of the most underrated music right now is like the Origami King stuff.
I'll have to check it out because I haven't heard anything. I've like seen people do covers, but I haven't like heard anything like people saying like you need to hear this.
Dude, it's so sick. Some of the battle themes, it's like, because they have like metal guitars in there, but it's very like, it's metal, but it's also very like video game music still. It's not like like Guilty Gear or something where it's just like metal music in a video game.
Yeah.
It's like, it's still like, you can tell it's a Mario game. It's basically like, it's like you think of Mario 64 music, but with like riffs on it. And that's kind of like what,
Nice.
That's what it is. And it's just, it's so amazing. So yeah, you should definitely check it out.
Okay, I will definitely check it out. Everyone check it out. Origami King. What's a franchise or video game, this is going to be a little polarizing, that you don't like? You can't get into, not like you hate it or something, just like it's not your thing.
I mean, honestly, like most JRPGs are hard for me. Like, you know, I really want to beat Xenoblade, but like, I just like, I'm sitting here playing Xenoblade, and I'm just like, bro, there's so many options. Like, sitting in the menu, and you look at all of the like customization that you can do, and I see why people love that. But like, I'm such a caveman that I can't wrap my head around all of that. Like, so I'm pushing through Xenoblade, but like it's hard for me. So I would say like Xenoblade and other JRPGs, it's like the amount of choices that you have is hard for me to love, you know. But again, it's like that's just me though. So I like, for other people who love it, like I get why. I mean, the music is amazing, the writing and everything, you know. So that's cool. But yeah, that I would say like Xenoblade and like other JRPGs those are games that I have a hard time playing. But
there's such a time commitment too. There's such
yeah, everyone's saying like, oh, you're playing Xenoblade, all right, dude, well, have fun for the next like couple months. I'm like, holy crap, dude. It's scary. I don't want to do that. What?
Yeah, you're like, there's a whole genre of this? That's just one game.
Yeah, I know. Well, everyone's like, you're playing Xenoblade, well, you got to play like freaking, you know, whatever, all these other like JRPGs. I'm just like, bro, I'm trying to play one right now, dude. Oh man, my brain already hurts, man.
To contrast that, what's a game that you can pick up anytime?
Oh, freaking Metroid Prime.
Oh, nice.
Any day. Yeah, Metroid Prime. It's literally just a game that I just play. You know, I don't even like speed run it. I just play it. Like it's like not even like, I just beat the game because I love it. You know.
Oh,
so
yeah, nice.
Like, so that's Metroid Prime. Like my favorite game is Metroid Prime 2. But that game's actually like, that's a harder game to just chill and play, because you're always just, it's like so freaking hard that you're just like always at the edge of your seat and like sweating and stuff. So it's like the first Metroid Prime, I almost think I maybe like playing more just because it's like more of a chill game. So I love those games. And like, I mean, there's obviously just the classic like Super Mario 64. I mean, one of the best games ever made, you know, like Mario Kart. You know, it's like, yeah, it's always, I guess it depends on like if I'm by myself or if I'm with friends, you know?
Yeah.
Because if I'm with friends, like, dude, freaking Mario Kart, like, doesn't get Smash Bros, like, it doesn't get better than those nights, you know? But yeah, single player wise, like probably Metroid Prime, or like Mario 64, I would say.
I kind of get for this, but I'm not a big fan of Super Mario 64. I'm one of those I like it to play it, but it's not one of those games where I can get into it. I get why people love it, but it was just like,
well, you're younger than me though, huh? Like,
no, I'm probably older.
Are you older than me?
Yeah, I'm about to turn 30. So
so we're the same age. We're the same age.
We're the same age. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, you look so young. You're so full of life, dude.
That's what. Yeah. Dude.
I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah. I feel that.
No, that's good. Yeah. That's good. So we are the same age. Then, well, I was gonna say, because like I know people that are younger than us. So like they you know, they're like, I didn't like Mario 64 because I don't get it. And I'm like, yeah, you kind of had to be there to understand. Because if you compare it to like Odyssey or whatever, it's like, yeah, it's freaking nothing. You know,
if you just start out with it, or like, you know, it creates that atmosphere like this game's sick, you know. But I think that's with everything, you know, every console that everyone's got
I think so much of it just has to be like where you were at in your life at the time, you know, because so much of a video game experience is about like where you were, you know, at like, you know, just when you played it, you know. So like, you know, for me, like my my Mario 64 story was like I saw it on this like giant TV, and I was just like, whoa, like,
right.
You know. So I think that has a lot to do with like my initial love for it, you know. So, but yeah, there's probably games out there like that maybe I didn't care for, but maybe if I played it like a year later, a year earlier, maybe, you know, it'd be different.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. Yeah, it's a thing with video games. I think that's what makes it kind of cool, is that every generation has things that they hold dear to themselves.
Right.
And that's what makes it kind of cool, that everything has its own like niche, and so everything's like great and kind of worse at the same, bad at the same time. It's really cool. It's a crazy contrast. So
yeah, everybody argues with each other about it.
yeah.
Your video game is bad. My video game is good.
I get you. But okay, cool. So yeah, I think that's all I have for this interview. I want to thank you for coming on and hanging out. Where can people find you? Plug everything you got.
So my main thing is YouTube, and it's YouTube, you know, / ToxicxEternity. So that's where all my, you know, once a week I put out a video game song on there. I mean, that's all of my social media, ToxicxEternity. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So Twitch, I should probably plug my Twitch too, because I stream on there all the time. So yeah, so Twitch, ToxicxEternity. I stream, you know, I play guitar, I play my songs on there, and I work on new music and stuff. So if you guys are on Twitch, you should definitely follow me. And then, yeah, you know, just I'm everywhere. You know, I'm just doing all the social media and stuff. But it's all ToxicxEternity. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Hell yeah. Also, speaking, hell yeah, I gotta show you this. Still wearing it. Wearing
it. Hell yeah.
Sickest shirt.
Hell yeah, man. That's freaking. Yeah, I'm proud of that one. I'm proud of it.
It's so good.
It's a very polarizing shirt. A lot of not a lot. Most people loved it, but there was like some people that were like, really, dude, that's your shirt, bro. I'm like, yeah, dude.
Like Comic Sans, really?
Yeah, they're like, come on, dude. I'm like, all right, I'll make an actual shirt for you at some point, but that's still gonna be my bread and butter. The so hell yeah, dude shirt.
And I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this interview.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So everyone, ToxicxEternity. Jack, go check him out, follow, do all that stuff, and listen to some more metal and video game music. Hell yeah. All right. Later. Hey, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you so much for sticking through to the end. I know it's a long video, but there's some good stuff in there, and I'm glad you stuck all the way through it. I just want to say thank you again to the person I interviewed,
ToxicxEternity.
I want to thank them for coming on to my channel and doing this interview with me. I really like sharing people's stories. It's really awesome. If you like this video, then give us a like. And if you want to see more, then subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want to interact with us live, then check us out on our Twitch channel. We do about 2 streams a week. And yeah, we'd love to see you there. So until next time, everyone, later. It's Bugsnax.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but what is Bugsnax?
Bugsnax. Greatest game of the year. Cody. Family, fun, friendly for everyone. Bugsnax.
Dog.
Bugsnax.